Okay, so with that, I think we're going to try to get started here. Welcome, delighted to see everyone here. This is the first information session for phase one of the Pali Microgrid. We're delighted you all could join us. And some of you are probably wondering what Resilient Palisades is. So as a reminder, we are a nonprofit that was founded now almost 2 years ago by your friends and neighbors concerned about climate change. And we have 4 different community teams. We have a team focused on clean air and water, which is running the Gas-Free Gardens campaign, trying to shift gas-powered lawn equipment out and bring in either rakes or electrical equipment. We have a zero waste team, which has the choose to reuse cutlery and commit to compost campaigns. We have the plant-based solutions team. You might have seen the Veg Fest that we've had in the park and on Swarthmore. And then this is the team that I help lead, the Clean Energy Resilience team. And our project is the Pali Microgrid. And if I could ask you, if you're not presenting, if you wouldn't mind muting yourself, that would be great. Thank you so much. Okay, so the benefits of solar and storage here. I'm going to turn this over to a colleague of mine who's been working for the better part of a year on the Pali Microgrid. She's not even in the Palisades. So Kate Ringness is a consultant to the project. She's with the nonprofit group EcoBlock up in Oakland, which is affiliated with Berkeley. And she's launching a microgrid up in Oakland. And she's generously shared her time and expertise with us to help us get our project started. So I'm going to turn it over to Kate, who's going to walk through the next few slides and talk about why we should care about solar and storage. Kate?
Thanks, Ryan. So on this slide, you can see that save money is down at the bottom, but really it should be at the very top. You know, electricity prices in California are not going down. They're going up very predictably, and it's going to cost us all a whole lot more money to heat and cool our homes, keep the lights on, and eventually charge our electric vehicles. If you're generating your own electricity, you're going to save money because your costs of generating that electricity are going to be fixed over time. So you're going to have great predictability over what your monthly outlay is going to be for your electricity. So that's one really big reason why you'd want to go for solar and storage right now. Other reasons are to reduce your carbon footprint and to increase your resilience. And we're going to get into that a little bit more if we can advance to the next slide. So one of the things that Resilient Palisades said to me when we first started talking was it's really important that the Palisades as a group really work to reduce the overall carbon footprint of the area. And so understanding that a huge amount of greenhouse gas emissions result from heating and cooling homes and the water and generating electricity is a big part of reducing emissions. And then if you add in personal transportation, if you can address if you can reduce the fossil fuel consumption for what it takes to run your home and your personal vehicle, you will make a big impact. As an example, everyone in your area buys electricity from LADWP. Your electricity, unless you've signed up to their 100% green energy plan, is 63% from non-renewable resources. And in 2017, they don't have updated numbers for some reason, it generated over 9 million metric tons of carbon dioxide. So if you put a solar system on your roof, you guys get great sun down there. You can either offset almost 100% of your greenhouse gases or at least up to about 80%, depending on your shading, by putting a solar plus storage system on your home. So you can really make a difference and do your part to help the climate. Next slide, please. Now, I've also heard from your community that large sections of the Palisades get brownouts and blackouts. There were 19 major outages in one of your areas since 2018. That's more than most of the rest of the state experiences. One of the reasons that it was explained to us is that there was a lot of growth in the Palisades in the late 2000s, and LADWP was going to upgrade the infrastructure and add some capacity and distribution, but the neighborhood didn't want it. And so LADWP said, fine, but now there just isn't, and there aren't enough infrastructure resources to support the community as it is. So a way of addressing that is to add more residential capacity, which is solar and storage, to help feed that growing need. And then the whole community as a whole will experience fewer brownouts and blackouts. If we don't do anything, this is going to continue to worsen. The infrastructure isn't going to get any better, and you guys are pretty isolated geographically speaking. So when there is a problem nearby with a wildfire or high winds, you will have more problems, especially as the climate gets worse and worse. We have more climate-related disasters. So the solution as an individual to get more resilience and to reduce your greenhouse gas emissions would be to add solar plus battery storage on your house. That way you can keep your refrigerator running, maybe cool your home a little bit if you need it, keep your modem up and running so you can work from home. So that is basically creating a little nano grid at your house. So if the power goes out in your neighborhood, you can keep your house running. But the innovative thing that the Palisades is doing right now is creating a microgrid so that all the homes join together to support one another when the grid goes down, because it increases resilience for the community as a whole and it uses the electricity that you generate much more efficiently and can provide more power for everybody across the board. Go ahead and advance. And so while today we're talking about individual purchases of solar plus storage, we just wanted to introduce the idea of what a microgrid is. So what you have is in a microgrid, you have different buildings that all have some sort of generation or storage on it. So you can generate electricity and you can store it. There's a master control system. There's little nodes at each home. And then you have a master controller. It's usually a software system and a switch. So the switch, when the grid goes down, the switch goes, and everything behind the switch works together to support each other, right? This is a very efficient system for keeping reliability and resilience, and ultimately will save money for everybody and be a great solution. And next slide. And I'm going to pass it back to Ryan.
Yeah, so what are we trying to do here? So again, if there are microgrids in the US, almost all of them are in either industrial or commercial installations. And to the extent there are residential microgrids, they're almost all in newly built communities. Kate, as I mentioned, is involved with creating one of the first microgrids in an established residential community up in Oakland. And we would be the first one in Southern California, and certainly the first one in the LADWP service area. We've talked with almost every elected official. We've talked with lots of industry experts. Everyone is very supportive of this. And it would be a two-phase approach. So phase one is all about getting as much solar and storage into the community as possible, because we can only do this if we have the density. LADWP has been very clear about that with us, that the amount of equipment and the cost required to section off a portion of the grid as a microgrid would only make sense if we have, a certain number of homes on a given block or in a certain neighborhood with solar and storage. So that's what we're trying to accomplish. And so we've launched in phase one this RFP process, which Cheryl will talk about in a moment, with installers, ensuring that the equipment that we're installing is compatible with what we're going to ultimately do in phase two, coordinating with DWP to prepare for phase two. And then next year, 2023 and 24, hopefully once we've accomplished our goal in phase one of adding hundreds of Palisadian homes with solar and storage, we will start phase two. So that's what we're trying to do. You might have received a postcard from us last fall. We actually, a group of us physically handed them out across the community. So you might have seen one in your mailbox, and it looked something like this. And we had about 400 Palisadians indicate interest in participating in this. So that was really galvanizing for the effort. We also last fall began coordinating with DWP, and as I said, they were very, very receptive. That we were the first community group to come to them in an organized way around doing this. They're particularly interested because they actually had put out an RFP seeking additional DERs or distributed energy resources for the Palisades for the reasons that Kate stated, that we just don't have enough distribution in the Palisades. So they're excited to partner with us, and they've established a working group to work with us, and they've committed that for phase one, they're going to help streamline and expedite interconnection, meaning getting set up here. So we won't be standing in line like every other installation. We will have a sort of special contact at DWP to expedite installation for phase one of the microgrid. So I think, Kate, were you going to handle this one?
Yeah. I'd love to handle this one.
Yeah.
So one of the important steps that I feel we should all take when we're thinking about adding solar is thinking about energy efficiency and electrification. First of all, energy efficiency, you want to make sure all your appliances are highly efficient before you put some solar panels up on your roof to handle whatever load you have in your home, because the more efficient your appliances are, the fewer solar panels you have to put on your roof and the smaller your energy storage has to be, and the longer you can hold out when the power goes out. So there's one big reason for thinking about energy efficiency as you think about adding solar. But the other thing that needs to be discussed is if you're really thinking about reducing your carbon footprint, think about what gas appliances you use in your home. Are you using a gas furnace? Do you use a gas dryer for your clothes? Do you use a gas stovetop? And particularly the hot water heater. If you're looking at the biggest bang for your buck to electrify your home, it's going to be your hot water heater. So, and there's lots of great rebates right now for all of these investments. So definitely think about all that. Resilient Palisades, we're going to have a whole separate presentation on energy efficiency and electrification. And we'll have a lot of information then. So please look out for that presentation. SoCal REN, REN, is an organization that gives tons of information, including contractors, about electrification and energy efficiency. So you can go on their website and check them out. And last, if you're going to think about electrifying your space or water heater, add an electric vehicle charger, even at some point in the next 4 or 5 years, you want to talk to your solar installer about that so they can size your system with that in mind. Oh, sorry, I'm this one as well. My bad. I was all ready to be done. Yeah. So why is now really important, other than the fact that the climate is warming and we all have to do everything we possibly can to make this a habitable place for our children and our grandchildren. But there's so many great incentives out there right now that we can take advantage of. So first, there's a 26% off sale. Who can deny that? Like, let's get on the 25% off sale. It's been extended to the end of 2022. You can deduct 26% off the cost of the installation from your income taxes. I am getting confirmation from a tax attorney. If anyone on this call is a tax attorney, I'd love to talk to you about it. But if you install your storage system at the same time as your solar and use your solar only to charge your storage system, there is a private letter from the IRS saying that you can also take 26% off of your storage system. Wait for confirmation on that, but watch out for it. You can also get a rebate from the state of California, about 15%. There is a movement in the state of California. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, NEM 2.0 versus NEM 3.0. It's net energy metering. It relates to the amount of money your utility is going to give you when you send electricity back to them. So sometimes your solar panel is going to generate more electricity than you can use or store, and you actually get to sell that back to your utility. Well, net energy metering speaks to how much money you're going to get for that. Right now, it's very favorable to solar owners, but they're talking about making it far less favorable. It doesn't apply to people in LADWP's territory, but the writing's on the wall that in the future, solar is going to become less lucrative for folks to sell their energy back to the grid. Also, this is the great program. You guys are getting a discount. These are the best prices anywhere. So if you sign up and you subscribe to this program, you're going to get a great discount. We have vetted all of these installers, high installers. they're great. We went through a lengthy process to make sure these guys are top notch. And so being part of this program helps guarantee that you're going to get great service. And LADWP has said they're going to streamline our interconnection. So you're not going to be waiting in the abyss forever to get your solar system turned on. And we're having a little competition. Whichever neighborhood gets the most density, whichever neighborhood gets the most solar plus storage is going to be prime candidate for a microgrid. So the race is on. Let's go.
Right. We will be tracking and reporting on a regular basis. You'll be hearing about it. So I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl Rosenbaum now. Some of you might know her. Cheryl is the project manager of the microgrid. She's also a neighbor, lives in the Marquez area. And we've been working on this for months, and Cheryl ran the whole RFP process. So I'm going to let her describe exactly what we did to select these installers, and then she's going to introduce them.
Okay, great. It's great to see so many Palisadians here. So as Ryan said, I'm the program manager for this segment, and we worked together with the Clean Energy Resilience team on Resilient Palisades. We had a technical committee, and we put together a very extensive RFP, and the criteria were difficult for installers. We had a lot of respondents, and basically our goal was to find reputable companies with strong track records that had all the appropriate licenses and certifications and with expertise to design a custom solar energy system that's right for your needs at your home. And so all of these factors were taken into account. And we're ready for the next slide. And so once the installers were chosen, they agreed to certain parameters to be in the program. And so they agreed to respond to customers in a certain way, to keep to certain timing, and to have extensive warranties of at least 10 years. And you can see the other qualifications that they agreed to, but basically they need to be able to also educate you about your system when it's installed. Make sure you have operating manuals, make sure you have a way of monitoring the performance and understand that monitoring data. And also, when Kate talked about the energy efficiency in your home, when they're talking to you and they understand your home, they can tell you what the low-hanging fruit are for making your home more energy efficient and kind of guide you on how to go forward with that. With all of that, then they're able to put together a proposal for you, and they have agreed to use the same format for the summary proposal, which is the initial proposal that they're sending you, so that you can put them side by side and compare apples to apples when looking at that first round of proposals.
Yeah, and I just want to amplify what Cheryl said about what they've committed to. Normally, when you would contract with an installer, it's you and the installer. If something goes wrong, then it's up to you. Here, each installer is signed a contract with Resilient Palisades. So when you participate in the program, it's you and the installer and Resilient Palisades. So if something goes wrong, we can help as well.
Yep, and this shows you what the cover sheet looks like. So it lays out the equipment that they think would work for your home, what the costing would be, and also what the rebate would be. So both the federal tax rebate and the SGIP, which is the battery rebate that Kate talked about. The federal tax rebate you would file with your taxes the following year, and the battery rebate is filed by the installer on your behalf and would come later as well. So the process for the installers right now is that when one of you goes on the website, with the link is shown here, and you put in your information about your home, which includes your LADWP bill, some photos of meters, and your electrical panels. And once that information comes into me, and I distribute the leads to the installers on a daily basis. And they are working real hard right now, and they're getting out summary proposals to everyone within a very short period of time. And once you've received that, they follow up with you, find out if you have any questions about it. And then when you've had a chance to look at all of your proposals, and you decide there's one or two that look interesting to you, then you ask for the full proposal from those installers. And once you select an installer, that your relationship is set with that installer, and that installer manages your project. Resilient Palisades also interacts with all of the installers, making sure that they're staying on track and staying within our time parameters and all of the project components that they've agreed to comply with. And if there's any troubleshooting that needs to be done, then I'll be happy to do that. And the last step is your interconnection with LADWP, and that's going to be it's going to be faster than normal because we have the relationship with LADWP, and they're going to be dedicating a contact to get us up and running when we have houses ready to interconnect. Okay, so in the end, we chose 4 fantastic installers, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But the first group to introduce themselves is Centricity, and I think I have Emil Khalil here to talk about their business.
Am I on?
You are.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Emil Khalil. I have a PhD from UCLA in geochemistry and my bachelor's in chemistry. I'm what they call an earth doctor. A small part of my research was helping bring the kelp back off Palos Verdes, and also dealt with paleoclimate. I'm a scientist. My dad taught me electrical stuff, algebra, when I was like 6 years old. He was a chemical engineer. He built the moon rocket. And I oversee everything in the Palisades. I worked with building and safety to create the online solar permitting system that we all use today. Michael Burnell, my partner, worked with building and safety and Enphase at the beginning of the micro inverter movement to get them approved in Los Angeles. My other partner, Joyce Burnell, is from a different school, not UCLA, but has her master's from USC in communications. I should mention that Michael has built over 100 homes in the Palisades, Santa Monica, Brentwood, and finished the last 5 homes on Tremonto in the Palisades. Joyce Burnell was president of the Palisades Chamber of Commerce for 2 years. She represented the chamber on the community council for 9 years, and she also represented the chamber on BID, the Business Improvement District, for a few years. So we're very tied into the Palisades. We're a local company. You might have seen our sign on the Palisades High School fence. We support our community by advertising in the Pali Post and in the Palisades Theater Playbill. That's kind of all changed since COVID. We've been residents of the Palisades for over 40 years in the Highlands. And Centricity has been located we started 14 years ago in the Palisades, and we've been awarded Best New Business at the start by the Palisades Chamber of Commerce. We're not the largest company of the 4 here, but we get the jobs that the other guys don't want. We also get called in a lot to fix solar programs because Michael and I are literally scientists and engineers at heart. We analyze electric use, pool pumps, water bills, and we pride ourselves on making the personal connection and making friends with our neighbors. And then I usually go out and look at how your house is using electricity, look at your bill to see if your sewage charges are outlandish, and tell you how to get that fixed. We have won numerous awards and certificates of recognition for sustainability, environmental education, and more from the mayor's office, the governor's office, the US Senate and state and assembly and local council members. And I just look forward to working with everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you, Emil. Okay, the next group that's going to tell us about their installation business is Simply Solar. And I think it is Anita Bradbury was going to present.
Anita's not here, but I'm going to step in for Anita. My name is Matt.
Okay. So Matt, okay, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thank you. Again, thank you for everybody joining this Zoom today. Simply Solar, we've been in business around 10 years. One of the things I would say that we have that's unique is we have our own design team, our own engineering team. We do all our own permitting. I will be the one that you will talk to, and I'll be in contact with you. My background is engineering and architecture at UC Berkeley. Moved to Los Angeles and opened up my own roofing company. And then when the solar program started in '99, I got involved. So I've been involved in solar electricity for 21 years now. I'm very well versed with products and the way they work. Also with designing homes to be more efficient, to help you maybe minimize your solar electric system. We look forward to working with you. It's pretty short, simple, but I'll be the one that be contacting you. I look forward to working with you.
Great, Matt. Thank you so much. Next group that will be talking to us is Tree Public. And I believe Omar Nasser is here to talk about it.
Hey guys, and thank you, Ryan, everybody on the team, Cheryl, Kate. Our company is based here in LA, pretty close to Pacific Palisades. We've been in business for about 12 years, and we have about 42 employees. One thing I think that makes us different is that we've fixed a lot of systems. In our early start, we serviced a lot of orphan systems left behind by other companies. And in doing so, we picked up what happens over the long run when installations aren't done right. And we try not to make those mistakes. Our warranties are 25 years on our workmanship for the solar, and a lot can go wrong over that period of time. So we train our employees, our installers, to take the long view on everything we do, whether it's the equipment that we install and the long-term relationships that we cultivate. I've got a couple of my colleagues on with me, Olu, our operations director, and Chad, our field superintendent, and we've presided together over many systems installed here in the Palisades. One thing that we take pride in is the fact that we've been on the cutting edge of a lot of the battery technology that's come out in recent years, and I've personally met with the Palisades LADBS inspectors, walk them through basically how to inspect these systems, how they come together. They don't get as much training at these building departments as much as we'd like. But over the course of the last few years, we've installed quite a number of streets, and many of the streets that the early applicants or homeowners have expressed interest. We recognize those streets because we've worked on those streets and met a lot of people. So we love working in this community. And we're not the smallest company. We're also not the biggest company. We're kind of a mid-sized company. And so it's still personal, but we're also a healthy company with zero debt. We own everything. Our building, 7,000 square foot facility, and all our employees are W-2. We're proud of that, and they're well paid. So look forward to working with you guys and addressing any questions you have.
Thanks so much. And then the last group is Swell Energy, and I believe that Teen Fan is here to introduce his group.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name is Teen Fan. I'm the program manager representing Swell Energy today. On the call here today, I also have Tim Ramage. He's our VP of Sales Operations, and JD Perrone. He's the regional sales manager. I'm actually going to hand it off to him. He's going to do a quick intro on Swell, our history, and what kind of sets us apart. Hey, JD.
Hey, can you hear me all right? Awesome. Hey, everyone, my name is JD. I'm with Swell Energy, and my team of consultants will be the ones helping you out with your proposals in the Pali Microgrid. So I'll tell you a little bit about us. We've been around since 2014.
Okay.
What was that? Oh, sorry. We've been around since 2014. We're a little bit different than most of the solar companies you'll find in the industry. And part of the reason for that is that we started really with the goal of becoming the largest home battery provider in the country.
JD, I lost you like the last 30 seconds. Someone was talking.
Is that all right? Great. So really our vision is to combine solar and energy storage and to aggregate these assets in a way that delivers both visibility and versatility to relieve that stress on the grid in a very regionally managed manner, while also providing you, the homeowners, resiliency, savings, and revenue earning potential. So right now, that vision is actually becoming a reality. We've opened our first virtual power plants in the Irvine area, in the Santa Barbara area, and up in the Redwood Coast Energy Authority. It's like Eureka area, more NorCal, but it's exciting to hear that Pali is doing this because this is really within our wheelhouse as far as grid services and virtual power plants go. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. We've developed a really strong relationship with Tesla during this process. So that's why you'll see Tesla Powerwalls as a kind of a primary piece of equipment in our proposals. And really we've developed our own grid service software already at this point. So it's exciting to think of the opportunity to integrate that here in the future as well. And then we have multiple ways of going solar, whether it's cash, like the way we will submit your cover sheets and proposals. And we also have zero down options available for you as well through our energy services agreement. So really our slogan here is create a greater grid for the greater good, excuse me. And that all kind of lines up with what Pacific Palisades is doing. So it's exciting to be a part of it. And my team will be happy to help you, and I'll be here to support as well.
Thank you, JD. Thank you, Swell. We're now going to turn it over to Antonella Wells. She's the marketing director for the project, and she's going to be handling the Q&A.
Hi, everybody. One thing before I was going to start with the question and answer. So if you can spread the voice would be great, like tell to your neighbors, sharing our website, and more we spread the voice, more people are involved in this project, better is for us, better is for the microgrids to be a real project. And I think also for LRWP, they are looking at us closely to make sure we have enough house involved, because for them it's, of course, it's a cost effective, it should be a cost effective, like Kate said before. So it's really important. So spread the voice, let's go solar. One more thing, if you have any question or doubt, please, I encourage you guys to email us on our email solar@resiliencepalisades.org, and we are pretty quick to answer back. If something's very technical, you're gonna have a technical answer. If it's more generic, we're gonna answer to that. And one more thing, many things that Kate talking about before, like net metering or self-generation incentive program, I will encourage to check our resources pages where you can find some good link to educate yourself for some of these topics we're talking about during this call. So we can start with a question. The first question is the following: the installer will provide a solar panel for condoms? So is the program, the microgrid includes also condoms?
Right, condos. It's a great question. Let's see, did one of the installers want to handle that? Emil, you live up in the Highlands.
I can't install on condos. And there's two reasons. One is, whose roof are you installing on, since it's a shared roof? And second, my insurance company won't cover me when I work on condos.
So I think the answer is probably that we need to have a conversation with the building owner to understand whether that's something that the building wants to do. There are installers that will do condos. I think I believe Swell does condos. Is that right, Chian?
Yeah. I would definitely recommend having a conversation with the consultant on that. And just like he said, it has to do with who owns that roof, what's going on with that meter, if it's an individual meter, if it's split with other condos or something to that effect. But we're definitely happy to take a look at it. We have an in-house design team that can provide support with that as well.
Okay, can we go with the next question?
Yep.
So Another question is, what kind of condition potential participants' roof should be in? So which condition the roof should be? The roof.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there, so for one of the installers, are there roofs where you just simply wouldn't even consider solar? We certainly know that there are installation projects that will require work or perhaps even replacement of a roof. Let's see, who's interested in taking that one?
I'm happy to take that too.
Great.
Yeah, the only roof type that we wouldn't consider is a tar and gravel roof. So that's your flat roof with rocks on it, essentially gravel on top. Really just about any other roof type we have a mounting solution for. So again, it's something that we will assess. We'll do a home assessment, take a closer look, but tar and gravel is the only one that upfront we wouldn't be able to install.
Yeah.
I guess we have a complementary situation. We actually do tar and gravel with chem curbs and the silicon, but we don't do the metal tile roofs. So if you guys do those, we don't do those.
Those can be tricky too, right?
Great. So I think the answer is we have someone who can handle almost every roof, and I believe that every installer, if there's roofing that needs to be done, they will either subcontract out to a roofer or they will direct you to an affiliated roofer with whom they have a relationship.
Okay, you guys skipped my first question.
Sorry, why don't you just ask the question, Tom?
Yes, okay. For those of us wondering about the rough cost range that we might expect, will such information be available with appropriate caveats, say based on the initial estimates of the early potential clients? In other words, we just want to get a rough idea of what kind of ballpark we're looking at here. So will something like that be available?
That's a fair question. Yeah, we've just begun to, I think we've received 50 now. So we're just getting those first proposals out. So that's a great point, Tom. I think what we'll take that and we'll come back and we'll begin posting some average bids on the website so you have a chance. But I think what we're trying to do is to try to make the form so easy and simple that completing it is, you could probably complete it in 10 minutes. And so you could get your own proposals fairly easily, but it's a fair question and we'll be responsive to that.
Hey, Ryan, there is a question related to the previous question. So the clay tile roof are okay to install?
Omar, you want to clay tile?
With clay tile, it depends if it's Boral or if it's Eagle. There are a number of other manufacturers of clay tile, but we find that only a specific subset of Boral tiles are resilient enough, and to hold our installers. We have a lighter crew for tile roofs. We've got a small guy who does attic runs too. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But certain types of tile are just less resilient, and sometimes we'd have to do a comp out, have a roofer basically come in, take the tile out, put new paper in, and then we'd install the solar, and then the tiles get added back in and sort of frame the solar array.
Yep, totally agree.
Great.
Oh,
So,
I would agree with that. Exactly. If you stare at clay tile too long, it might break. So we usually will comp it out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is, so the question is actually this: each installer are offering different set of solar panel in terms of brand and price. So how we are able to compare those in terms of quality and price?
Yeah, well, let me start on that. I think the way that we've tried to arrange the summary cover sheet tells you exactly how many kilowatt hours you're going to be receiving in your proposal, what the price is per kilowatt hour, and you can easily compare from proposal to proposal. We have done the work for you of ensuring that the equipment that is being proposed is state-of-the-art equipment. So you should have no concern about, you shouldn't have to research what an N-phase battery is, or what a Tesla Powerwall is, or what the specific solar panels are, because we've done that work for you. So really all you need to do is evaluate the firms. You should look at their website, you should talk to them, and you should evaluate the price, and then make a decision.
Thank you, Ryan. So next question, who will manage the microgrid? How will cost of the microgrid be split?
Yeah, that's a quote. So those are questions that we're going to need to answer in the years ahead. We don't have the answer for that yet. Obviously, DWP is going to play a big role in that as well, but there's going to be a role for Resilient Palisades. There's going to be a big role for technology. Every participant in the microgrid is going to have an advanced control system that's going to be talking with the rest of the microgrid and determining when you're selling power back to the microgrid and when you're receiving power from the microgrid. But again, that's a question that only comes into play once we have enough density in our community of solar and storage.
And I'll add too that in EcoBlock, the community itself is designing those parameters amongst discussions between neighbors. So it's been a real community building experience and kind of playing on their values and how they want to interact with their neighbors.
Right. Yep. There is no established framework for that. This is all new.
The next one is, does the microgrid require a physical infrastructure to connect the houses? I think we already answered this question, but Ryan?
So does the microgrid require additional physical infrastructure? No.
To connect the house.
Yeah, so there won't be any new poles and wires. There are microgrids that use separate poles and wires. That's not what this would be. This is going to use LADWP poles and wires and use technology to move the electrons intelligently back and forth.
Okay, thank you. What is the advantage to being part of the microgrid compared to simply having my own microgrid? Like with
Kate, you want to answer that?
Me?
Yeah.
Kate.
Well, I hate to get too much into the weeds on microgrid because it is a future thing, and participating in this does not mandate participation in the microgrid. But I like to sort of say, if you have your own nanogrid, you can keep your refrigerator on and your modem, but maybe not your porch light, definitely not the street light, and maybe you can't watch the playoffs. But if you're part of the microgrid, maybe you can watch the playoffs too, because everyone is sharing the electrons at different times and the load is kind of getting balanced. And so you'll be able to have more access to energy when you need it, when all of the electrons are pooled.
Thank you. Next question. In the case of LWP outage, how does the microgrid equitable distribute power? That's a good question.
Okay, that's following on what you were just saying, I think.
Sorry, can you say that question one more time?
How does the microgrid equitably distribute power in the event of an outage?
Right, that is determined by the algorithm for the microgrid controller, and as well as the values of the community that sets the parameters of the algorithm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
There's an issue there because right now we're using a transfer switch which disconnects the battery and the power from the grid. And so there'd have to be a rewiring at the customer site to make something work.
It's all doable. We don't have to worry about that. We're taking care of it in EcoBlock. Every home is a nanogrid, and we have a control switch at the point of common coupling for the microgrid itself. So we're doing all of those details right now as we speak.
Antonella, you skipped my other question.
Yeah, how many applicant companies were there who were considered to come to the top 5?
I think we had 15, I want to say.
Yeah, that's right.
Next one. If we use these contractors, are we committed to join the microgrids? I think we answered this question.
Yeah, I answered that in the chat. Yeah, absolutely not. So just to be very clear here that the microgrid is what we hope to do in the future. What we're doing now is a group purchasing program in phase 1, and we hope you'll take advantage of it.
So the next question is, are the lease options versus purchase?
Lease versus purchase options.
Yeah, actually, there is also a related question to this, Ryan. Gets pretty complicated between leasing versus buying. We'll be interested to hear, generally speaking, what makes sense for what situation.
That's great. Let's see, which of the installers wants to jump in on that? When would you recommend leasing? We haven't heard from Matt. Matt, do you want to talk about leasing versus buying?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, in the way that we work, a lease becomes kind of a glorified loan. And so, but your hands get tied with the lease. There's certain restrictions you have when you go to sell a home. There's a balloon payment at the end of the lease, which is typically 20 years. So I would say that you can either purchase the system, or instead of leasing, you could just get a loan. You know, I think all the companies have a loans program available to you. And you can have a 20-year loan, 12-year loan, 5-year loan. And then once you pay that loan off, you own the system. I don't know if that answers your question, but leasing is not really great for the homeowner.
Any disagreements from the other installers? Omar, JD, Emil?
No.
Yeah, I'm happy to add to that a little bit. I think to Matt's point, leasing definitely had a bit of a black eye in the industry for quite a while for those exact reasons. Like transferability was an issue, wasn't totally ironed out. With our third-party owned option, it's called an energy services agreement. There is a full transferability available. It's actually quite simple, and our team and your project coordinator can help walk you through that pretty easily in the case of a home sale where you just want to transfer the payment, for example. I would say that the other big things that weigh into that are when you talk about warranty, it's really the only way to get a 25-year battery warranty that I've heard of in the industry, really. Most of the time it's just coming with a manufacturer's warranty when it's third-party owned. With Swell, for example, like we cover the entire system, including storage, for 25 years. We do proactive system monitoring. And there's definitely benefits to it. And of course, there's no upfront investment, right? So if you don't want to make an investment and you don't want to deal with ownership responsibilities, that's an option that we have for you as well. I would definitely ask your consultant about it, and we could walk you through the differences for your home.
All right, we just have 8 minutes left, so I'm just going to say, Kate noted it in the chat. Any questions that you put in the chat that we don't get to tonight, we will answer and add to our FAQs on our website. And this will not be the last meeting. We're going to have more meetings via Zoom and in person over the coming months, so watch for that. All right, Antonella, what's next?
Yes, can home that already have solar system join the microgrids, or does it need to be a new installation? Well, this is easy.
So yes, no, our understanding is that if you have solar already, or if you already have solar and battery storage, in general, you should be able to join. There should be no issues in having you connect to the microgrid. You may need a new controller to connect you, but your panels and your battery should and will be compatible with what we're doing with the microgrid.
Next question is, how long will these batteries last?
Well, it really depends on the kilowatt hour that you're buying. And do you want to maybe let's see, Omar, can you speak to, if you have two 10 kilowatt hour N-phase batteries, what will that let you run in the event of an outage?
Yeah, so two N-phase batteries would be 20 kilowatt hours, which is 20 hours times 1,000 watts. And if you want to kind of consider what would constitute 1,000 watts, it'd be, an average refrigerator, maybe 15 or 20 lights, maybe a small appliance, laptop, Wi-Fi, security. 1,000 watts is your basics or light basics. That would run for 20 hours with an N-phase 20 kilowatt hour battery without solar recharging. So what we do is we consider the depths of winter with a 1-week storm. How is that battery going to hold up? And so just today, and maybe the dark background, I'm parked in front of the Gelsons in Palisades because I just got out of a couple site visits. We're going through the same thing, circuit breaker by circuit breaker, which loads need to be protected. And based on what's on those circuits, if it's a refrigerator, if it's a freezer in the garage, an EV charger, we estimate how long it's going to last. So a 20 kilowatt hour battery for an average, let's say 3,000 square foot home in the Palisades it's going to run for about 8 to 12 hours, but every home is different and there's seasonality. And so all these things lead up to these projects just all being custom. So that's why it needs a bit of analysis, and that's what we've been doing with these proposals and site visits. So
great. Let's see if we can get 2 or 3 more questions here.
There was a good follow-up question to that, just in case the question was misinterpreted. What is the lifespan of batteries? And typically my understanding is about 10 years.
Okay.
And
Antonella?
I didn't answer it in that way. It's hard to say for some of the battery brands because they haven't been out for, the full 10 years. I would indicate that different battery chemistries may last for different periods of time or degrade at different rates. Lithium iron phosphate versus lithium ion, they have different cycle counts, and at the 10-year mark, there's different expectations. So.
Great. Antonella, let's see if we can get 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, sure. Next one. What is the realistic timeline to get the solar installed? We had heard LAWPs back it up and supply chain issues too.
Right. Emil, somebody signs a contract today. How quickly can you do an install?
1 to 2 weeks, we could start.
And complete?
It takes anywhere from 3 to 5 days for us to complete. Depends on the size of the job, the complexity of the roof, all of these things.
Yeah. Well, I know that's not the case with Swell, I believe, because of the Tesla supply chain issues. Chen, do you want to, or someone from Swell, just talk about your timeline? JD?
Yeah, I can help with that. I mean, we're going to do the home assessment first. We're going to submit to our design team, get your plan sets all created, submit that for permitting. From there, we're actually procuring the materials. We're going to set you up for installation, submit your interconnection application, process your SGIP rebate. Our team handles processing that for you, which is a lot of work. So we're happy to help with that. I mean, our start to finish is, we're saying conservatively 180 days, which yes, is longer than a few weeks. But we'd rather under promise and over deliver here. So good chance we could do that sooner, but that's by default what the team will be saying, because we will go through that whole process and do everything.
So 1 to 6 months is what you're hearing.
And we should
not 1 month though.
Yeah, we should point out, Ryan, that the question was also phrased in, LADWP has these delays with interconnection. And we should point out that Ryan and I have talked to LADWP, and we've gotten a specific person assigned to help process these interconnection requests so that they will be fast-tracked for this project.
Correct. Okay, maybe one more, Antonella.
Okay, this one, I think it's a lot of conversation, so maybe we can, answer this question later. Can you talk about solar for pools versus solar for house? I think this is maybe we can skip this and we can answer this question later.
Yep.
So is it imperative to get a battery as being part of the microgrid so I can sell energy back to my neighbors if they need energy at a lower cost than LAWP?
Kate, up in the eco block, everyone's having a battery, right?
Everyone is having a battery, but that's because of PG&E being very persnickety and other 4-letter words. So it shouldn't be a requirement that everyone has a battery to participate in the microgrid. It just depends on how we work out all the intricate details with the utility.
Great. All right.
Yeah, there's one question that I think a person asked 3 times, so we should answer this question. If one solar company proposes an emphasis battery and the other proposes a Tesla, how would I know the difference in terms of the best to choose? Is it apples versus orange, or do you compare?
It's a great question. We've done the work, and we've determined that both Tesla and Enphase are top of the line. Different manufacturers, obviously. Remind me, are they the same chemistry or different chemistry? They're different chemistry. So they're different people who have different views on that chemistry. But we recommend both. And really, It's a question of price and the kilowatt hours. And with that, I think we're going to wrap. So I want to thank everyone on the Pali Microgrid team and from Resilient Palisades. And I want to thank our 4 installers. Thank you for being here in the evening. We're going to do it again. And as I said, any questions that we didn't get to, we're going to add to our frequently asked questions on our website. Really appreciate everyone's involvement. And we're really, again, to echo what Antonella said before, please help us spread the word. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to your family. Let them know about this program. And again, completing the proposal on our website, simple. You know, you could do it in 10 minutes and you could have 4 proposals, and maybe you don't act on them immediately, but at least you'll have the options and you'll see what it looks like for your home.
It goes solar.
Remind people what the end of the subscription period is.
Sorry, that's right. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah.
Signing up.
So we have the first half of the year to sign up, everyone. So our goal is to get everyone signed up by July. So it's not going to last forever. So please join in. Thank you again, and thank you, Kate. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Antonella. Thank you, installers.
Thank you, Ryan.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.
Thanks, team.
Great.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Well done.